marrying that person. At least as Africans, that's what we used to say. You're not marrying just the person. You're marrying the entire family. You have no choice most of the time. You have no choice but to become a part of the family. And that means you have more than just a new relationship with them. You have like a lifestyle with them. And so, what are the obstacles of you getting to that place where you're very comfortable with your in-laws? We know a lot of times people come to tell us that I go through this with my in-laws. My mother-in-law doesn't like me. My sister-in-law is so troublesome. My brother-in-law goes into my pot to dish out food. You know what I'm talking about as Nigerians. We are very particular about that. He doesn't have any right to go into my pot to dish out food. You know, those are parts of the issues we deal with as Africans, as Nigerians. But there are things that happen. We'll be talking about a bit of this today. I know this topic is a broad topic that I don't think 1 hour can cover, but we'll try our best to address as much as we can today. And to do that with me, I have a studio guest and I have a remote guest. My remote guest is Mma Eka. Actually, her name is Praise Chibweze. This show made me know her real name because we're all familiar with Mma Eka. But her name is Praise Chibweze. She's popularly known as Mma Eka on social media. She is a relationship consultant, an inspirational writer, a verified content creator, and a mentor to several young people. Her desire to see marriages and relationships stand the test of time and scale through the norms in society gave birth to her mentoring academies. The academy is geared towards providing workable tips to give relationships and marriages a heavenly place. Beyond just teaching and speaking, Praise Chibweze is an author of the best-selling book, Dealing with a Difficult Partner, and several other books. She is the founder of Love and Marriage, a community that helps young and married individuals gain clarity and understand the purpose of marriage. She is also the founder of the Phenomenal Sisters Academy, an academy that is exclusive to females only. Okay. Her years of experience in counseling young ladies and passion for the girl child gave birth to this academy. She has spoken on several platforms and has helped young people redirect their focus with proven results and testimonies in the lives of several individuals. She is happily married to her Afro, and their marriage is blessed with beautiful children. Welcome to the show, Mma Eka.
Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you for sitting with us today. All right, so my other guest, Doyin Ayeni, she is a lawyer by training. She's a credentialed family mediator, a court-appointed special advocate and writer. She is the executive director of a behavioral health clinic that is owned by her husband. She loves advocating and empowering the lives of people. She's passionate about conflict resolution and building positive relationships. She's a wife and a mother of 3 lovely children. Welcome to the show, Doyin.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for sitting with us. So let's dive right into it, Doyin. Who is an overbearing in-law, or what does it mean to be an overbearing in-law?
That's a deep question. An overbearing in-law will be someone you probably are not too comfortable with in your family. I mean, like an in-law is a relative of your spouse. But then, if the person is overbearing, it means you cannot actually connect with that person. And the person is trying to maybe sometimes take advantage of you too.
All right. So, Micah, let me ask you, Ma, what does it mean? What is an overbearing in-law? What does it mean to you? Who is an overbearing in-law?
Thank you so very much, Odun. First and foremost, let's define an in-law. An in-law simply means the people, the family of your spouse. Now, an overbearing in-law is an in-law who wants a control of your life. An in-law who oversteps his or her boundaries. An in-law who is encroaching into your rights. That is an overbearing in-law. An in-law who is encroaching on your personal life, encroaching on your affairs, making life unbearable to an extent. An in-law who is domineering, who wants things done his or her way. That is an overbearing in-law.
All right, thank you so much. I like that. She said, as a person that encroaches on your space, encroaches on your privacy,
Yeah.
encroaches
Yes.
on your every part of your marriage,
Yes.
basically. So, thank you so much for that. So, you said, do you agree with our own submission of who an overbearing in-law is?
Yes,
Is
I
there
do.
actually a space? Would you say your in-law is encroaching on your space? Can your in-law do that?
Yes, your in-law can encroach on your space. Um, an example is probably uh, your kitchen. You know, you want to be the one to cook. Sometimes you can allow your mother-in-law to cook or your father-in-law to cook, but sometimes they want to be the one to do it all the time. Another example is probably they want to stroll into your bedroom.
Oh,
They want to stroll into your bedroom anytime. No. Or make certain decisions as to how you spend your finances.
how
You
you,
know,
how you
you should
train
be
your
able,
children.
you should be able to agree with your spouse how you're going to spend your finances, how you're going to manage your finances, what you're going to do with it. They should be the ones to be deciding for you.
All right, thank you so much. So, Emma, let me ask you, for those that are single, what are the signs that you notice when you are in a relationship, like you're not married, you're just like you're courting, and then what are the signs you need to look out for an overbearing in-law? That okay, this is a potential overbearing in-law. What are the signs that you need to look out for?
Thank you so very much. And I really like the question because most of the time we see signs and we overlook them. We overlook them we cover them up with love is blind. I always tell people that most of the problem people encounter in their marriages did not just crop up overnight. There were signs that people overlooked during courtship. There were signs people overlooked when they were dating because they believed that love is blind, or they believe that this person could change. So there are many signs to notice that this person will be an overbearing in-law. One of them is when someone gives you an embarrassing question. Maybe you just came into the family for the first time, and the person starts an embarrassing question. She or him gives you that disdainful look. Right from the look, you have known that something is wrong. Okay, and most of the time too, they are dismissive. If everything is okay, someone gets introduced into the family for the first time, you are supposed to ask the person some familiarizing questions. Calm down to know the person, at least talk, relate. But when someone is to, how you can know that someone will be an overbearing in-law is most of the time they are dismissive. Hello, hi. You understand? Hello, hi. They don't just want to relate with you. That's one. Secondly, they pick at you at everything you do. There is nothing you do that goes well with them. You hardly please them. You sit this way is a problem. You talk this way is a problem. Is that how you talk in your place? Is that how you are brought up? Is that how you are trained? You see, they try to pick on you at every slightest thing you do. That's another one. Another one is they humiliate you at the slightest chance. And then they choose the time that you are comfortable to humiliate you. When you've let down your guard, you think everything is okay. You think you're flowing well with this person. But at the slightest time, they just humiliate you. And one of the greatest signs of all is domineering. Overbearing in-laws are domineering. They want things to go their way. They want you to reason like them. They want you to, they, to them, what you say does not matter. Whom you are does not matter. It is just what they say, what they want, how they want it. So they kind of want to dominate you. They kind of want to control your life. They want things to always go their way. You don't have a say, or your say doesn't count. Your say doesn't matter. These are the signs you will see and you know that you are in for a domineering or overbearing in-law.
All right, thank you so much. So,
Thank
Tony,
you.
let me address the question to you with everything she just said. What other signs is there that you think will tell you that this person will be overbearing? This person will want a room in my home? Because most of the time it's like, this is my own space. You have to give me a space in your marriage, or else there'll be help. So, what other signs are there for you to notice that this is a potential overbearing in-law?
A potential overbearing in-law will be someone that will look at both the potential spouses, go to one spouse, say one thing, go to the other, say a different thing, and the two spouses are pretty confused. They have conflicts because of what this potential in-law has said. You know, one has to be really careful if communication is like that. I'm very particular with communicating with people. Now, if communication is like that, it's really terrible because the in-law is going to one spouse and saying one thing, probably about that other person or about a situation which might not be true or which she does not even understand about. And then goes to another person and says a different thing. And then the two now come together and there's a fight because of what that in-law has said. Maybe later on they now realize, oh, this wasn't the situation. This is the situation actually. This is what it's actually supposed to. Yeah. So and then both of them now start thinking,
so why just happened?
He, bringing this up. Yeah. That's a potential problem, for both of them.
You can hear what both of them just said. They just highlighted some of the points or some of the signal, the bell that rings when you're in a relationship. This is for the singles out there. There are things you need to watch out for. Don't say, it's the husband that I love. Or when I get inside, I'm going to handle it. Or when I get inside, I'm going to be in charge. It really doesn't work that way. Once an overbearing in-law shows you the sign, you are either ready to go through it all and not mind, or be ready for the fights. So the signs are always there. So let's now go to dealing with these overbearing in-laws. How do you deal with them? I want to address this to you, Ima. How do you think we should deal with that overbearing in-laws? For those that are already in it, what are the advice or the suggestions we can give them to deal with an overbearing in-law?
All right. To deal with an overbearing in-law, no, first and foremost, get your spouse to set the boundaries. Get your spouse to set the boundaries. You see, most of the squabble that happens between one spouse and one's in-laws, the wife is the first recipient of every hit that comes from the squabble between herself, and her in-laws. She's the person, okay, let's take, for example, your mother-in-law comes to your house. When she comes in, every problem that arises during the period of her stay, it is the woman, the wife, that gets it directly. She's the direct recipient of whatsoever hit they throw on her. And this can have effect on her psychology. It can have a strain on the marriage. That's one, the wife, firstly. Then the second person is the husband. Because there's this saying over here that whatsoever affects the eyes affects the nose. Now, if the wife is affected, the husband is also affected directly or indirectly. Of course, when the wife is not happy, when the wife is constantly at loggerhead with the husband's people, this will affect her peace of mind, which will directly also affect her marriage. So there's a strain on the marriage. There's a strain on the man too. This is why most of the time, if the in-laws are understanding enough, if they are reasonable enough, if they love their son enough, they should know that whatsoever they throw to the wife will one way or the other get back to their son. Because if the wife is not happy, she can't dish out happiness in that marriage. There's this saying that if you want a happy home, you produce a happy wife. Once the wife is happy, the marriage is happy, the home is happy. So when the wife is under some stress, some burden being dished out from the in-laws, she passes it She receives it first. She's the first recipient. Then she passes the stress down to the husband. So the husband too is not happy. The marriage is not happy. So as the husband's people, if you love your son enough, you should leave the wife alone so that there can be peace. Because if the wife does not have peace, your son too, your brother will not have peace. So I don't know how you are comfortable with that. That your brother does not have peace, is not happy in his marriage because of your attitude, because of your character, your towards the wife. I don't know if I've answered your
Yes,
question,
you
but the
have. You
first
have.
recipient is the wife, then the
The
husband.
husband.
All
All
right.
right.
Thank you
Thank you
very much.
so much. So let me ask you the same question, Doing. Do you agree? Who do you think gets the brunt of this, of the squabbles that comes from? I want to take food. It's my brother's kitchen. How can you tell me not to dish food from my brother's kitchen? Or how can you tell me I need to call you before coming to my house, to my brother's house? You know, who do you think gets the brunt of it? Who is at the receiving end of these squabbles?
The answer to that is the woman, it's the wife, because the wife is the one that, the Bible says the wise woman builds her own home. So it's the woman that has the home. Anything and everything going on in the home, the wife knows about it. The woman knows about it. The husband might not know 3/4 of what's going on in the house because he's hardly home. He's not with the children most of the time. The wife is with the children most of the time. The wife is the one that's cooking. The wife is the one that's taking care of the house. The wife is the one with the in-laws the most. So she knows everything. So if anything is going to hurt anyone first, it's going to be the woman, the wife. And like she said, if the wife is affected, it's going to go down to the husband too. It's going to affect the whole home also.
All right. Thank you so much. So let me just ask this. Most of the times we assume or we think that it's only the husband in-laws that can be overbearing or that are overbearing. But can the wife family too be overbearing? Do we have in-laws, the wife family, do we have in-laws from the wife side that can be overbearing and troublesome as well?
Yeah. Yes, yes, predominantly it's the husband's people that are mostly overbearing. But yeah, we can also have wives people that are overbearing. Yes, it happens. But in this case, um, speaking from the African perspective, from where we come from here, over here in Nigeria, the husband side always see themselves as God to the woman, to the married woman. They are like, we accepted you, we brought you into our lives. Okay, the mother of the man will be like, that's my son I carried in my womb for 9 months, and he suckled just my breast for 9 months, and all that. So they kind of play God. They kind of feel like they are doing you a favor. They are doing the woman a favor. That is where most of this problem comes from. And they kind of see the woman like, you are coming to eat from where you did not sow, especially if you're married to the first son. I am talking now from where I am coming from here, over here in Africa. If you're coming to marry the first one, you are coming to distract him from taking care of his family. So they kind of play God to the woman. It's not rampant with the woman's people. No, they don't really interfere. I am not ruling out that they can be overbearing. I'm not ruling that out completely, but it's rare.
But the percentage,
it's quite rare.
Percentage is more.
It's quite low, yes. It's quite very low, yes. It's minimal.
Okay.
Yes.
So do you agree with that, Doing?
Yes, I agree. And the reason also being that, in the African culture, and probably in most cultures, it's the woman that goes into the man's house.
Yeah.
So the man is accepting the woman in his
And
own home.
usually they have their own way of life and all that.
Exactly,
So
exactly. And so you have to bow down to
them.
What is going on in the family.
All right, thank you. So Olati African said we need to separate religion, ethnicity and tradition, and the overbearing in-laws will reduce. Is that true? Do you agree with that? And either one of you can answer that. Do you agree with that? That is tradition, ethnicity. I think we had the show on the show last week. Yes, on the show last week we did cultural differences and all that, and a lot of the people, my co-host that came, Aki said that is who told you that once you marry somebody you must marry the whole family. It was actually a guy, and he said he think that's where the problem comes from. There is this mentality of you are not just marrying me, you are marrying my own family. That's where the problem starts. So invariably, I think this is what this person is saying. That if we can take away this culture of I'm marrying the whole family, I'm marrying the whole family, maybe there will be overbearing in-laws. Is that true?
Yes. You say, okay, can I answer to that?
Yes, please.
Okay, all right. That's why when I was talking, I said I am talking from the perspective of an African woman. Over here, we believe so much in this extended form of marriage.
Yeah.
It's different from what is obtainable in the Western world. Yes. But over here in Africa, we believe so much in extended family. Okay, let's get something clear here. A woman that is coming into a new family should know that the man didn't drop from the sky. Of course, he has people, he has family. So you should be prepared to be part of that family. But then, because of the tradition, the culture of Africa, okay, look at it this way. When a woman is being married, they call her our wife. Our wife. Meaning the woman belongs to everybody. So that tradition alone of our wife means, yes, that tradition alone of our wife means that anybody can throw anything at the woman because she belongs to everybody. Anyone can just wake up in the morning and say anything at all to the woman, command the woman around, push the woman around because she is our wife. So she's supposed to serve us, not just serving the husband. She does not just belong to her husband, she belongs to all of us. So I kind of agree with what the person said, that if you remove tradition away, yes, overbearing in-laws will reduce. Because tradition kind of empowers these in-laws. Yes, they are kind of backed up by tradition. Of course, you will see that when a woman comes in and maybe she has a squabble with her mother-in-law, you will hear the mother-in-law say, Ade, it doesn't happen like this. In our tradition, our custom does not do this. Our custom does not permit this. So I really believe and yes, agree to that if tradition is removed, yeah, maybe women can have some space, some breathing space in their homes.
All right, thank you so much. So do you agree with that as well?
I agree, but I also believe that even with tradition, you can set boundaries. You know?
Yeah, we're actually going to get to boundaries. The setting of boundaries.
Yeah. Even with tradition, you know, yes, the tradition causes a lot of problem because of that tradition, because of the way we are raised, especially in the African culture. I think it's mostly in the African culture. I don't see it in other cultures, but mostly in the African culture, we tend to want to show this respect to the family member of our spouse, and sometimes we don't want to
get on the bad side.
Exactly. Yeah. We don't want to get on the bad side. We don't want to be this bad spouse or disrespect them, quote and unquote, kind of. And so we just accept whatever comes our way from them. And it's not supposed to be so. And in doing that, we're not happy. And we're still accepting what comes from them.
Who should put an overbearing in-law in their proper places? Because that's what this person is saying, that he believes. This is actually a guy, funny enough. He's saying the husband should define it and say, this is my family. You are my family as well, but now you are my extended family. This is my immediate family. So do you agree with that?
Yes, I believe it's both spouses have to agree, be definite and say, look, this is my home. This is my, my wife. This is what we're going to do. And say, and just conclude from there so that other extended families do not come in,
All right. Thank you so much. So, Mma, should it be the man that is setting the boundaries? Should men set the boundaries in their homes, or we've had stories of men that will say you can't? Yes, she's my mother. My mother can come in at any time. My brother can ask for money at any time. My brother can do this at any time. Men like that, are they wrong? Or should they be the ones setting the boundaries and saying, I need to take care of my immediate family, I need to consult my wife before you can take money, or before I can give you money, and they won't say, Oti is just him, and all that.
Definitely. See, the solution to most of the struggles between the wife and his people lies within. Okay. Yeah, it lies within the husband. Like mostly men. Yes. I always tell men that if a man does the right thing, if a man knows and does the right thing, his wife will not be seen as a wicked woman. It's left for a man to tell his wife, his mother, and his people that, oh, I love you so much, you are my people, you are my family, nobody can take your place in my life, and that's true. Because the love a man dishes to his family and the love he dishes to his wife are two separate loves. Nothing people should fight over. So when you tell your people, you belong here, you belong here, and you also tell your wife, oh, I love you so much, you are the love of my life, nobody can take your place, but you belong here. Now look at it here. The husband, the wife belongs here. The parents belong here. His people belong here. Now this is the man at the center. The problem is the man stands at the center and makes sure that everybody is in their places. Make sure your wife remains in her place. Your people remains in their place. Nobody encroaches.
And each other's space.
Nobody oversteps their boundary. Yes. The problem we have is when the man, who is at the center, does not play his role, he allows these people to start encroaching. Have you seen it now? They start encroaching, and before you know it, there is a loggerhead. Before you know it, there is a loggerhead. Why? Because the man who was supposed to be at the center here, left his duty post. Are you getting my illustration now? Are you getting my illustration?
Yeah.
The man at the center left his duty post and allowed these two people whom he loves so much to now encroach each other's privacy. And before you know it, there's a loggerhead, there's a disagreement, fighting, squabbles everywhere. So as a man, listening to me now, you are the one to set the boundary. Of course, you are not the head there for nothing. You are not called the head just as a figurehead. Of course, a head, someone who is the head, should set principles, set rules, set the boundaries. You are the one to set the boundaries. If you allow your wife to be the one to do that, she will be seen as a wicked woman.
Yeah.
She will be
domineering. They will say she's the one controlling you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Controlling you, exactly. They will say that the wife has come, the wife is the one controlling. But if the husband knows his onions and he knows his game, of course he will stand at the center and make sure everyone remains at their place.
Where they are supposed to be.
Thank you.
Alright, so let's move on to how to deal with them. Is there suggestions? How do you deal with an overbearing in-laws? Some people will say, like, put them in their space, as in, I can deal with them, or I will do this, or I will do that. In your opinion, how do you deal with an overbearing in-law?
It's not putting them in their place. I think it's more of showing love to them, actually. Showing more respect to them, and not doing the same thing that they're doing to you, not doing it to them. Because I've seen that too. And it works. Whatever that they're doing to you, continue to show respect to them, continue to respect them, and remember that these are people who are relatives of your
You're connected to your husband for life.
Exactly. So you can't start saying you want to put them in their place. How will your husband feel? When you're doing that, to your husband's relative, or vice versa. It could be your wife's relative too. So continue to respect them and show love to them. One way or the other, they're going to melt.
All right. Thank you so much.
Okay, I also want to say that when a situation arises like that, where you do everything, one key thing to do is always communicate with your spouse and let your spouse also know. Since he's the one that is
that should
supposed to be in charge, exactly.
Yeah.
He can go and speak to them and let them know what you're doing is not right.
All right.
That's one other suggestion.
All right, thank you. So, Mma, in your opinion, how would you advise someone to deal with an overbearing in-law? Do you agree with what Doyi just said? She said, show them love, keep showing them love, keep respecting them, don't put them in their place.
All right, like I said before, the first step to treating overbearing in-laws is ask your spouse to set the boundary. Get your spouse to set the boundary. Don't want to do it yourself. Dare, don't dare want to do it yourself. Okay, so when you've gotten your spouse to set the boundary, there is something I want to say that is very important, and I want everyone to listen to it with an open mind. That is, study to see these people if they are actually like this, if this is their character. You see, when people come into marriage with all kind of garbages. You have heard, that in-laws are always troublesome, in-laws are this, in-laws are wicked, in-laws are bad. And you are already coming with a biased mind. You are already coming with a biased mind. Now, whatsoever they do, you misinterpret. Whatsoever they do, you overreact. Okay, I want you to how to deal with overbearing in-lawism. Study to see if you are the one overreacting. If actually the way they are treating you is the way they treat others. Is this their character? Is this how my mother-in-law behaves? Is this her natural self? So that you will not be overreacting and thinking that something is wrong. I don't know if you understand what I am saying. It is when you now study them and these are not how they treat others. That means that is when you know that something is wrong. Now, what do? When you know that something is wrong, that they are not treating you the way they are treating others, that the character they are meting out to you is not their natural character, they are just being overbearing. What do? You call them down and you talk calmly. See, someone can be hurting you or doing some things to do without knowing that this thing is really hurting you. He or she, especially in an African culture, they might think they are doing their rights. They are having their time. They are doing what they are supposed to do. They don't know that this is really hurting you. This is really, really bringing you down. So what do? You talk it out calmly. And while you are talking, you be very selective and choosy of your words, because what you say can be used against you. You might say something and they will quote it out of context, and it becomes another problem. So while you are trying to make peace by talking calmly, be careful, choose your words with wisdom, be diplomatic, and be very wise. That's that. Another way of dealing with overbearing in-laws is always try to recognize and avoid triggers. Those things that happen that makes them, and maybe you come to mama in the morning and like, mama, good morning, please, what do you want to eat? And mama is like, get away here. Who are you? Did I say I want to eat? What is it? And you're coming to show me you're a good woman. Okay, if that always causes problem, please avoid it. Leave mama alone. Don't go and ask mama, what do you want to eat? Okay, if I'm just trying to cite practical and live examples. If it were to be your brother-in-laws or your sister-in-laws, And you notice that each time they are talking to your husband, which is their brother, that if you try to contribute, that it brings problem. What do? That's a trigger. What do? You stay away. Stay away. Just try to recognize triggers so that you can avoid them. It is only a foolish person that sees where there is a problem and he or she intentionally works into it. If you know that this is a trigger, when I push this button, all hell will be let loose, problem will start. Please just avoid them. Avoid them. Then don't try to pick fights. Don't try, avoid fights and squabble any possible way you can. I guess they talked about killing them with kindness. Yes, you can show them kindness. There is how some you can show someone kindness, and the person will be embarrassed. That's if the person has conscience. If he or she has negative feelings towards you, your kindness is able to reverse it back.
Okay, so now you just said kill them with kindness, and she just said I've been doing this. I even organized a surprise party, and she still did not like me. There's nothing you can do to make them like you if they don't like you. Is that how do you win in that kind of a situation?
Okay, I was coming to that point. Don't try to fake relationship. Don't try to force yourself onto anybody. I always tell people that you can't be friends with everybody. Okay, let's say there are 5 in the family. The 5 of them cannot treat you equally. They can't treat you the same. If you know those people that flows very well with you, that relates very well with you, you go ahead and relate very well with them. And those that don't relate very well with you, then you know how to relate with them too. Don't try to force yourself. It doesn't work that way. Don't try to force. You are trying to fake some kind of relationship, some kind of love. No, it doesn't work. If someone does not relate with you or flow with you, to a particular extent, then limit yourself to how you relate to that person. In that way, familiarity will not set in. Everyone's space will still be maintained. Everyone's boundary will still be maintained, and there will be respect and mutual respect and love. So don't force it. If it doesn't flow, don't force it. It doesn't mean you are at loggerhead. It doesn't mean you are fighting. But just be on your own. Just be on your own. Don't force
All right.
it.
All right, thank you so much. So knowing, because I think this person is actually saying all these things out of her own experience and what she's going through right now. But she keeps coming back. She said, I show kindness and love, and I get hatred in return. So what would you tell this kind of a person? Because obviously she's sending this out of a place of odds, that I've done all I can do. I've shown kindness, I've shown love, I've shown respect, but I've still been hated. What can we tell this person to at least encourage her, to let her know? Most at times, for me, I actually think it's not your fault. Someone that doesn't like you doesn't like you. That's just the truth. There's nothing you can do. If they don't like you, they don't like you. So what can we tell this person? Because obviously from everything she's saying, she's hot.
Well, she's trying her best to reach out to this person. If the person is not yielding, she can actually find a way of talking to that person.
I'm sure she must have done all that.
Find a way of talking to that person. If that does not work, then she can call her husband and also talk to him, and let him know how she feels, and maybe he, being the head of the home, can also reach out to that relative. One way or the other, somebody's reaching out to that person. Now, hopefully that works. If it does not, like she said, then I think
let them be. All right. Thank you so much. So, what advice can you give this person? Exclusive stuff. She keeps coming back with, I've done this, I've done that, I've shown kindness and love, and I get hatred in return. So, what can we tell her? What advice would you give her?
Don't force yourself on her. When someone does not like you, he or she doesn't like you. There's nothing you would do that he or she would see that he or she will be pleased with. So why you force it? Don't even go to your husband and say, leave your husband out of it. Leave the person. Just be on your own. You are not fighting. If it doesn't stop you from showing kindness, maybe she wants something from you or she wants your help, you can still go ahead and help. But don't force the relationship. Don't want to make the person your best friend, your gist partner. Everybody can't be your gist partner. No. Everybody can't be your gist partner. Everybody can't be cool with you. So if you've tried all you can and the person is not forthcoming, please just leave it. Leave it and be yourself.
Keeping your cool in the face of provocation. I know some people will say, even if they provoke you, don't do anything, don't say anything, just walk away. How visible is that? Is that possible for you to keep your cool? Like you're scolding your child and your mother-in-law is telling you that you are the one that scolds them. When I say you should beat them, you do not listen to me. Now she's fault. As in, they find fault in the way you train your child. They find fault, or they tell you that's not the way my son is not used to that kind of food. There's a way I used to make his soup, and all those things that belittle you as a woman. How do you stay calm and collected in the face of such provocation?
It's difficult. It's difficult to stay calm, but you can stay calm. When things like that happen, at that moment when there's a heat of an argument, do not be confrontational at that time. Do not talk.
Do not engage.
Yeah, do not. Because in doing that, you're going to encourage more squabble, at that time, at that heat of moment. So maybe later on, you can go back and discuss with the in-law about whatever it is that you have a conflict with.
All right, thank you so much. What about you? What's your opinion about that? How do you stay calm and collected in the face of provocation? And I'm not just talking about she didn't greet me or she didn't wear something. Like they criticize you when you try to tell your child something. They criticize your money, or they criticize you when you buy a top. They criticize you when you come back late from work and your husband is in the kitchen. There are provocations that are you can even see some people question the paternity of your child just because they don't like you. So how do you stay calm and collected in the face of such provocation?
No matter how big a woman is, there's a kind of here.
Yeah.
Up to here, you can't take it any longer. So there's always that elastic limit whereby you can't overstretch it. If you overstretch it, it breaks. So there's a limit to what you can take. There's a limit to kindness. There's a limit to being quiet. And this is it, because some very nice, calm women did not just suddenly become a lioness. The situation they find themselves made them grow thick skin, thick muscle, that they are now able to stand and talk to you. Maybe initially you will talk to them, they'll just be calming you. Oh, I'm sorry. They are looking for peace. But there's a limit to that. There's a limit to that. This is when the husband has to step in. This is when your husband has to step in. Because there's a limit to what you can tolerate. There's a limit to what you can take, no matter whom you are, no matter how kind or meek you are. So when it gets to that level where you cannot take it any longer, number one, you get your husband involved. Let him go and set limits. Let him go and set boundaries. That's number one. Number two, don't downplay the place of prayers. Don't downplay the place of prayers. There's nothing prayers cannot do. You can resort to fighting on your knees. Tell God about this. And I'm assuring you, God always steps in. It doesn't remain like that forever. I have seen where a woman who is so hated, so disturbed in her marriage, she keeps on talking to God and being patient, and before you know it, things turn around. Because there's nothing God cannot do.
So let me pick out something you said when I asked about provocation. Like, have you ever been provoked before? Let me put it, have you ever been provoked to a place where you're like, it's gotten there, I can't take this anymore?
By who?
By your in-laws. I know some people are lucky with their in-laws. in-laws. I know some people are so cool and with their in-laws. Are you in that category of? I think I got someone on the show that was like she has never had any issue with her in-laws, and that she's actually confused when people are complaining about their in-laws because she really don't understand what people are talking about. So are you in that category of people that you've never been provocated before by your in-laws?
I would say I'm not in that category, but I've seen it switch. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
Right now, it's good.
Yeah.
But I've been in that other
side as well.
So that's why I say it's possible for it to change. You keep calm, you show that respect, you show that love. But like she also said, which is very important, always involve your husband. Because when you involve your husband, when he speaks to them, they will listen to him.
Yeah.
If they might not, they will not want to listen to you. But they will listen to him. He will set the boundary and they will listen to him.
All right. Thank you so much. Thank you both so much. So I think we need to talk about familiarity because I know some people say, my mother-in-law, I'm so familiar with my mother-in-law. The first time we did this, the in-laws on this show, there was, our guest then said that never be too familiar with your in-laws. She said our policy is don't get too comfortable with your in-laws. You can be comfortable, but not too comfortable. So can you ever be too familiar with your in-laws? Is there something like familiarity? Like, we are fond of saying familiarity lofa, as in like, you see finish. Yes, let me use the word see finish. Can you be too familiar with your in-laws? Or can you just be familiar and just keep it simple, keep it, cordial and respectful? Or do you like be too familiar, like you go out to your in-laws place and you tell your in-laws you're very close to your sister-in-law and you tell your sister-in-law all of your secrets because you are very close with that. Is that advisable? Can you be that familiar with your in-laws?
I would not advise that to be too familiar because you don't want what is called a third party to your home. It's good to have a very good relationship with your in-laws, your relatives, but at the same time there's a limit to it. So I would say you can't be too familiar, but yes, you can have a cordial relationship with them. Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much. Thank you for joining. Kemidesi Ray, Adegoke Rachel. Thank you for joining in. So, Imma, let me ask you the same question. Is there anything like familiarity, over familiarity? Can you be that familiar with your in-laws? Should you be too comfortable that you tell your in-laws all your secrets? When I was single, I had 5 abortions. When I've dated 10 people, as in now you see that person as your friend and you're just like telling your sister-in-law the whole of your secrets. Can you do that?
Be comfortable, be familiar, but don't make it overly. There are things someone will not want to say to you. There are things someone will not want to do to you if you are not too familiar. That's why personally I believe in boundaries. I believe so much in boundaries. Don't get too familiar that you start letting loose your gas. You start saying things you aren't supposed to say. It can be used against you any day. And it can reduce you from here to here. That's how someone knows you in and out, knows them just like you, the examples you said, knows it. When you were single, the things you do, automatically you lose your respect. You lose that touch of respect. So over familiarity or too much familiarity is not advised. It's not good at all.
Kill out with kindness, talk it out with your mother-in-law, talk to your sister-in-law, have your spouse set boundaries, kill out with okay. So I think we've practically covered everything we have here for today. But so before we leave, there's something we do on this show. We get our final thoughts. Like, what would be your final thoughts of everything we've talked about today? What is your own final advice? What is your final thoughts?
My final thought is not to have a grudge with your in-laws, your in-laws are your spouse's family. If you really love your spouse, like I said earlier, if you say you love your spouse, still show them that respect. They might not show it to you, but still give them that respect. Yes, with boundaries. You should set your boundaries for your home, but it doesn't mean you do not show them that respect as, your in-laws. That's one thing, because we tend to want to not respect them anymore. We tend to want to put them in their place. Because of that, because of how they've dealt with us. Okay, I'm going to do the same to them. I'm not going to, be kind to them anymore. They asked for my, help in any way. I'm not even going to answer. No, we shouldn't do that. Still be kind to them. Still show them that respect, and remember that these are your spouse's family. Remember that.
Thank you so much. So, Ma, what's your final thoughts for today?
Okay, my final thoughts for the wives is this. When you're coming into marriage, come in with a clean slate. Come in with an open heart. Be open-minded. Don't come in with garbages. You are expecting to come and meet trouble. No. Don't come with a mindset that you are coming to meet trouble or that these people are troublesome. It doesn't matter what your friend's marriage looks like. It doesn't matter what your siblings' marriage or what you've read in books or what you've heard on social media. Just come in with a clean heart, with a plain heart, so that you can be able to accommodate everybody and relate to people according to their character and according to how their lifestyle is. That's my thoughts for the wives. Now, my advice for the in-laws. Let me just give this advice to the mother-in-laws or to the husbands in family as a whole. Please leave your brother's wife or your son's wife. Give her the freedom to be herself. Give her the freedom to express and showcase who she is. Okay, you didn't give birth to this girl. You didn't train her. Probably she's from another tribe altogether. She was brought up by another parent. She wasn't taught what you were taught. She wasn't taught what you taught your son. Give her the freedom to be whom she is. Give her the freedom to express herself according to her home training. While you were training your son to wash his mouth before eating, probably your in-law was training her to eat before washing her mouth. Now, if she comes to your son's house and she's washing her mouth before eating, don't go and say, this type of woman, do you even have home training? Were you trained at all? No, give her that freedom in her own home to be herself, to showcase who she is. If you have to correct, you are doing that suggestively, not authoritatively. Did you get that? In your son's house or in your brother's house, whatsoever you say there, if you have to make contributions, you are suggesting. You are just contributing. You are not imposing because you don't have the right. So whatsoever you want to do it with love. Correct her with love. Just suggest. Can we do it this way? Okay, this is how I taught my son. Can you do it this way? You are not imposing whom you are or your own home training or your own values on her. No. Give her the freedom to be who she is. Thank you so very much.
So much. It was a wonderful episode. Thank you so much. I just want to chip in something. Like when you said, remember, they are your spouse's family, which means they are the granddaughter of your children, the grandmother of your children, the aunt of your children, the uncle of your children. That is the truth. They are still the family of your children. So at times it might not be easy to take this thing on your cheek and smile with it. But if you think about the fact that they are still the parents of your husband, you are still married to this person, they are going to be in your life. So you need to just find a way of dealing with them and keeping the peace. And as for you yourself, you need to be conscious of your happiness. You can actually create an happy space for yourself. You know, it depends on how you manage it. They've given us a lot of advices, a lot of steps to take. You can create an happy space for yourself. Make sure you are happy in your husband's house. If ignoring them is what makes you happy, then do it. If you cannot get your husband to set the boundaries, to put each other in their space, then create your happy space for yourself. Do it in love, do it with respect. Don't say, I'm putting them in their place, as in let them stay in their own room or in their own place or blah, 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 blah. No, put them in their space respectfully. You can be cordial, you can be respectful, you can relate with them, knowing that they are the family of your children. And this actually go both ways. Both ways. So thank you all so much. Thank you for sitting with us. We appreciate you. Thank you, Umma, for sitting with us. I know you're coming back soon. I think we have something after this again. So thank you for coming and sitting with us today. Yes, we appreciate your time. Thank you all. Yes, thank you. Thank you all for joining and thank you for your contribution. Thank you for tuning in. We appreciate the time. Next week we'll be on a break, but then we'll be back on the 8th of May. And that 8th of May, we are coming with our day tutu Oshofowora. Get ready. Yes, you know what? She's called Tuski. She's very popular. Hima is smiling already. So we are bringing our day tutu on the 8th, and she has a lot of things she wants to take to the singles. She actually wants to talk to single people. So look forward to that, because I am looking forward to it. I don't know. It's always exciting whenever she comes on here. Thank you all so much, and until the end, when I come your way, my name is still Odun Akirele. I'm still your friend, I'm still your sister, I'm still someone else's daughter. See you next time. Bye.